From the Leominster Lassie League complex on Creasy Street in Leominster, we say a very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to April vacation and welcome to spring athletics here on RFM. Great to have you with us as the 2022 season continues here on RFM, and great to have you back along with us here, courtside, fieldside, and others on RFM, all playing surfaces concerned. Today, softball takes center stage as we open our spring schedule, part of a vacation week doubleheader, and great to have you along with us. Leominster plays host today to St. Paul from Worcester. Leominster brings their 2-2 overall record into this early season matchup. St. Paul 4-1 as they come in to the Lassie League complex on this Thursday afternoon. Alongside Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins, Todd Robbins for RFM this afternoon. Great to have you with us for the first of two. One, of course, today, one tomorrow. Softball today, baseball tomorrow on this opening week of the spring season for us here on RFM. And we've got a dandy of a matchup for you today as Leominster plays host to St. Paul. We're going to see some college-bound athletes in action today. We'll get a chance to talk a little bit about that. Some of the best softball in north central Massachusetts you'll get a chance to see here from the Lassie League complex today. Leominster, that 2-2 overall record coming off of a tough loss yesterday against Westboro on the road. Some late inning magic for the Rangers yesterday leads to a 4-3 Westboro victory over Leominster, handing Leominster their second loss of the season coming into this one. And of course, the spring season, always one where hope springs eternal, Kate, as the saying goes, but also this is probably the most difficult week of the athletic calendar. There is no other week like this.
Yep.
I think in an athletic calendar, February vacation isn't like this for the winter coaches, but for the spring season and spring coaches, this April vacation week has got to be by far the most difficult week on the calendar.
Well, and it's become more difficult over the years. This is a situation in which the weather is finally moving in the right direction, and all of a sudden now, things are blooming, spring rings eternal, and people want to go places.
That's right.
And so what ends up happening, especially if you have underclassmen and you don't necessarily know if they're going to make a team in the spring season, a lot of times families schedule things.
That's right.
And so when things get scheduled, then sometimes athletic schedules can become a little bit tricky. So over the years, it's become more and more difficult for especially D2, D3 programs to be able to even field enough numbers to be able to make these types of things happen. In addition, sometimes if you have multi-sport athletes, this might be the only week you can do a driving course. And so you have the entire week, it just gets absolutely just tarnished because of that. So this is a very difficult week for athletic directors. This is a very difficult week for coaches. This is a very difficult week for families and student athletes. But more often than not, here at the Division I level, you have enough committed student athletes that are serious enough about the sports, and their families and their coaching staffs. Everybody's very serious about it. And so we see no evidence of a lack of numbers out there this week. But I can tell you, it is always a constant concern in athletic departments across Massachusetts, because you truly don't ever really know in the event that you, especially with the underclassmen, sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, well, we always go to Cancun on April vacation.
That's right.
And then it's like, well, welcome to the new reality.
And welcome to varsity athletics.
That's right.
Bill Thomas joins us as well. Go ahead, Bill
We
Thomas.
always go to Cancun on vacation, but we haven't gone the last 2 years, so sports be darned. We're
Right.
going this year.
So it gets a little tricky.
Even this year's at that added challenge, I will agree.
Bill Thomas, we've got a St. Paul team that comes in here with their 4-1 record. As I mentioned moments ago, they have yet to play a home game this season. They have been the road warriors to this point through 5 games. 3 of their wins, double-digit victories, including one coming earlier this week on the road at Needham, a 15-6 win in that one. This is a team that can produce a lot of offense, and they've got a phenomenal pitcher in Natalie Horton on her way to UMass Amherst, a bastion of fantastic softball. Got herself a full scholarship to play at UMass in the years ahead. So they've got the great combination of pitching to lock down offense from the opposition, as well as their ability to create offense in bunches today.
And it sounds like they know how to play a little bit of defense, too. Not a lot of runs scored against them. The most runs was in their one of the highest scoring games, and sometimes you tend to let up just to get outs. But yeah, this is a great St. Paul Knights team, and it's great to see a potential star in the making here that's headed to D1. We're going to see a whale of a ball game. You talk about conditions being challenging in the spring because of players, but we got a little bit of wind here today,
Absolutely.
and that's always a challenge in the spring. But you've been to this field many a times, and so you know what the players are facing today out there in the field as far as the playing conditions.
Well, it's a swirling wind, and as you mentioned a little while ago, we're at the crest of a hill here at the complex, and there aren't a lot of trees that actually affect the field. It is tree-lined in all directions, but it doesn't do anything to provide a windbreak here in any way.
Not a lot of
form.
leaves in sight either, so it's still a little early for that. But this is going to be a great ball game. You talked about Leominster coming off a tough loss to the Westboro Rangers, but fully expecting them to bounce back today, and they're going to have to bear down, get the ball in play, and play station to station.
One of the things, though, about both of these teams, if you take a look at their schedule, anybody familiar with D1 softball in Central Massachusetts knows that in the last probably about decade, the perennial favorite at the top has usually been Wachusett. And so you always want to look, okay, how did both of these teams or either of these teams fare against Wachusett? And luckily,
a common opponent.
They have it as a common opponent thus far early on in the season. I would always look at my schedule and say, okay, where's Wachusett? Both of these teams not able to put up any runs, both of them losing efforts. St. Paul's gives up 7 runs to the Mountaineers, and Leominster in extra innings loses 2-0. So
and that was a scoreless ball game through 7. In extra innings, they lost 2-0.
If we take a look at common opponents, Bill Thomas, this one is going to be an excellent one, and it's going to be a situation of if you get a quality ball game with these two pitchers pitching their best stuff, it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams are able to manufacture what they need to manufacture in the late going if they're not able to get that explosive offense that they're used to being able to rely on.
Well, when you talk about manufactured runs, Kate, you're a veteran of the softball field, and you know how important that is when it comes to key situations, whether it's moving a runner along, getting a bunt down, taking that extra base. And I think that's what we're going to see today. Fully expecting a 1-1 ball game. We're just not sure which way it's going to go.
And that's the question du jour. And, of course, the pitching matchup today. We mentioned Natalie Horton on the one side, the senior leader for St. Paul. Their lone captain this year that is still able to physically go is Natalie Horton. Meanwhile, for Leominster, it's younger leadership that they are looking toward. Freshmen and sophomores that are making a huge contribution here. A number of sophomores through their starting lineup. Victoria Belcastro, the sophomore pitcher, will get the start in the circle today for Leominster. As a freshman, she spent most of her time working in relief of Leominster's ace, Megan Doobie, and now this is her first season as the ace of her staff. Thus far, off to a good start. 2-2 overall record, of course, is tough, and it's one of those things, just like anything else. You're able to build one game after another and hopefully start to create a little momentum, Kate.
And you're absolutely right about that. I just also want to point out, you can see here at Ground Rules, Natalie Horton. If you want to see what a prospective Division I athlete looks like on the girls' side, I ask you to look no further than this. Her physicality, her physical presence,
she has
just
a presence
amongst the rest of the even the adults.
That's
right. Even amongst the adults that are there, you can kind of see. You're like, okay, we're dealing with something a little different.
And during pregame, I'm looking out there. I just observed your exact same observation, Kate. She looks like somebody who's destined for a D1 and beyond.
Belcastro is the type of pitcher that it's not going to be overwhelming speed. There's a lot of spin involved in her matchup as well as compared to Horton, who, Kate, you saw multiple pitches during warm-up, signs of a rise ball being worked on, curveball, screwball, and, of course, the fastball. And with that frame, tall, lean, heavy forearms for long levers, that is a winning combination.
And one of the things also that we're going to look to see with an elite-level athlete working the inside portion of the plate, a lot of times, especially in the springtime, you see girls trying to work the outside of the plate primarily and utilizing that to their advantage, especially if they're getting liberal, use of that exterior portion of the plate, the river. I'm looking to see how confident she is Horton, working the inside of the plate, especially on a right-handed batter.
And being as tall and lanky as Horton is, Kate, we saw this a couple weeks ago when we did a UMass Lowell girls softball game, about the ability to step forward now off of the plate and lose contact during that step towards the plate, delivering the pitch. a girl of her size and imposing will out there, how much stronger does that make her look, or how much more imposing to have that extra 1 or 2 feet advantage on her fastball?
When you're dealing with someone that is around 6 feet and above, if you're starting at 43 feet away from home plate, that stride, you're getting close to 33 feet
exactly.
worth of stride. They essentially feel like they're sitting in the living room with you by the time they let go of that ball. So when you're talking about having to react, making sure, number one, you can identify the pitch, identify whether or not it's actually even in the zone. It's indefinitely, it's crazy.
And sometimes you're guessing.
And Leominster takes the field and begins their warm-up for the top of the first. Time for us to set the starting lineup for Coach Amy Lee's St. Paul Knights and their 4-1 overall record. They send a straight 9 lineup to the field. Emma Nordahl, the shortstop, bats leadoff. Mia Condolis, the center fielder, bats second. Bella Mara, the first baseman, bats third. Alex Teig, the third baseman, bats cleanup. Natalie Horton will pitch and hit for herself in the 5-hole. Jamie Broderick, the left fielder, bats sixth. The right fielder, Bella Romero, bats seventh. The second baseman, Megan Palmer, in the 8 slot. And Ireland Shea, the catcher, will bat ninth for the Knights. Leominster will send a lineup into the field that looks like this. Left to right across the outfield, it's Chloe Tresoloni, joined out there by Mia Keenan. And then in right field, Ella Beeland. Left to right across the infield, it's Anna Worry, Katie Chury, Abby Barnaby, and then Bella Gasparo at first. And at the plate, Georgina Wilson does the catching for the sophomore Victoria Belcastro that will start in the circle. Umpires assigned to today's game by the Midwatch Athletic Board. Mike Lasorsa will call the balls and strikes. Andrea Allen will take the plays in the field. And we're set for first pitch as Emma Nordahl comes to the plate, the right-hander, to get this game started against the right-hander in Belcastro.
Right away, taking a look at the first 2 batters here for St. Paul. You have stereotypical first and second size here, looking for speed coming out of the box right away. Let's see, you see corners in for Leominster, especially on the left side of the field.
Belcastro is set on the slab, got her sign from Wilson. Here's our first pitch. It's a ball inside, and we're underway, shockingly, 4 minutes early at 3:56 this afternoon.
Not surprisingly, it's usually Johnny on the spot when it comes to these outdoor sports.
Nordahl takes the 1-0 pitch and pulls it wide outside the bag at third, evening the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. If you're joining us for the first time here on RFM, important to note, we say this every spring when we get to the Mat Ball Sports. Remember, this is a classic radio broadcast with pictures that illustrate the action. The 1-1 from Belcastro, off-speed floats high, and the count will go to 2 balls and a strike to Nordahl.
We'll try to bring you as much of the visual action as we can, but pay attention to the description. We're not sure if we can catch everything visually. We're doing our best.
Todd's wordsmithing.
Belcastro, the 2-1, called strike on the inside corner and levels the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Late arriving crowd, the outfield's filling up.
What else would you have on a vacation week? This 4 o'clock start, the 2-2, called strike 3 on the outside corner.
Nice way to start off there. Get that first batter. Last thing you want to do is get that leadoff person on the first inning. Kind of sets the tone for the rest of the game.
Especially if you have a imposing offense that you are battling. Getting that leadoff hitter out in the top of the first inspires confidence. Mia Condolis, the center fielder, comes to the plate. First pitch called strike on the outside corner to the left-handed hitter.
Interestingly, the infield set for potential slap here with the 2 spot, but outfield still playing straight up for the Blue Devils.
The 0-1 from Belcastro. Sticks a bat out, does Condolis. It floats into right field. Wind grabs it, and Beeland settles under it to make the catch. And 2 away quickly here on Bill Thomas, what I have tabulated as just 6 pitches.
Yeah, so far so good, but it's early on in the ball game. Just got to maintain that consistency, but the first inning is so important in these short ball games.
Bellamara, the first baseman in the 3-hole, takes this high pitch, goes with it to right field, and it's inside the line fair. Mara will round first, cruise on into second. She's still on her horse. Leominster up with it. They will hit the cutoff and then on into third. Sliding in safely is Mara with a 2-out triple.
Couldn't have been fair by much, Todd and Kate. Right down there, down the corner in right field. The wind helped push it further towards the line, but stayed fair, ended up in the corner down there and hustles it out for 3 bases.
And Kate Morrow went with that high pitch and took it to right field where she had all sorts of room next to Beelan.
Send it where the pitcher puts it. Now you get your cleanup on with a runner in scoring position.
And Tig will inside out this one, foul outside the right field line, and perhaps they've seen something here early as St. Paul go with that pitch, which seems to bend either inside or out. Not much coming straight down the tube.
Well, you know, Todd and Kate, we see a lot of foul balls off to the offside. Late swing, and the wind's just going to aid these right-handed hitters that are going towards right field, and it's going to be an adventure out there for the second baseman, the first baseman, right field, and maybe even the center field. A lot of balls going to be put in play that way today.
0-2 now, though.
Yeah, off-speed waved at by Tig on 0-1. Here comes the 0-2 offering. Grounded right back at Belcastro. Fields her position up with it and on to first. 1-3 the put out and ends the threat, but not without a little bit of noise. That 2-out triple for Bella Mara stands impressive, but stranded to end the inning. Through one half here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. No score, St. Paul and Leominster, as we head to the bottom of the first. Leominster will send the following batting lineup to the place here in the bottom of the first inning. The center fielder Mia Keenan will bat in the leadoff spot. Abby Barnaby, second baseman, bats second. Bella Gasparo, first baseman, bats third. The catcher, Georgina Wilson, will bat cleanup. The shortstop, Katie Cherry, bats fifth. The third baseman is Anna Worry. She bats sixth. Victoria Belcastro will hit for herself and pitch out of the seventh position. Victoria Witzkow, the designated player for Leominster's lineup in the eighth spot, a freshman in the lineup. And then the 9-hole hitter, Ella Beeland, is the right fielder, batting ninth. Chloe Tressaloni is the flex, playing left field in the 10th position. She will not hit.
Get a chance to look at this very impressive pitcher for St. Paul. Like you mentioned, Todd and Kate, Natalie Horton headed to UMass on a full scholarship, and they're expecting big things out of her. You know, it's a great softball school, and they're expecting her to step right in. Her size and posing fastball and the way she approaches the game, I think she's going to fit in perfectly at that softball program out there at UMass.
An institution, and she's going to pitch in a phenomenal program that has been known for years. Danielle Henderson, new head coach, heading into her second year next year, and going to have a Natalie Horton that reminds me a lot of a Danielle Henderson.
I was going to say the same thing. You're not wrong about that. You are absolutely not wrong. So when you're going to a school that has a head coach who is known for being essentially the most famous person to pitch out of the state of Massachusetts for the Minutewomen of UMass Amherst, that means she's certainly going to learn quite a bit from Coach Henderson when she gets there, and that's going to be a treat.
Bill Thomas, you mentioned Horton. You look a little bit at her stats from last year's COVID-modified year. She was 7-1 on the season, a 1.87 ERA, and she split starts with her classmate Kyra Burtz as Horton delivers her first pitch, a strike to Mia Keenan.
Interesting low call there, kind of hitting the kneecap. Take a look at the defensive alignment for St. Paul's, though. Corners way in, especially on the left side, so they're looking for Leominster to play small ball right out of the gate with a 1-1 count now.
Missed off the outside corner, as Kate said, 1 ball, 1 strike. That alignment she alluded to, it's Broderick, Condolis, and Romero left to right across the outfield. The 1-1. Ball off the outside corner, 2 balls and a strike goes the count. Left to right in the infield, it's Tig, Nordahl, Palmer, and Mara. Shea does the catching for the pitcher, Horton. The 2-1. High chop off the plate and harmlessly killed foul by Mara.
But that'll even the count at 2-2. Now the count in favor of Horton.
You know, Kay, you talk about the Lady Blue Devils want to play small ball. When the pitcher has a under 2 ERA from last season and is performing above that this year, you don't have much choice.
2-2, line straight back to the backstop, indeed. Maybe just a little underneath the Kate.
Her timing looked really, really nice there, and I like how aggressive she's being. She's not taking anything for granted. She's going right after it while it's in the zone.
The 2-2 from Horton to Keenan. Hit on the ground to third. Tig up with it. On to first. 5-3 the put out. One away here in the bottom of the first inning.
You know, Kate, you talk about timing it up. When you got a pitcher like Horton, you know she's going to be around the zone. Just a matter of being in the right swing, right part of the zone with your swing.
Brings Abby Barnaby to the plate. She's got a .467 on base percentage coming into today. And yes,
I think I recognize
that last name. Barnaby, head coach, of course, Richie Barnaby, the varsity baseball program here in Leominster. Yes, this is his daughter, and first pitch she sees, she hits on the ground foul.
I think she's
outside
heard a
of
thing or
first
two
base.
about bat ball sports.
I have to imagine, and that is a fantastic Barnaby lineage that goes back a number of years. The 0-1 missed low and through the catcher shade to the backstop. 1-1 goes the count. It was a beautiful sunny day, and we arrived here all of about 2.5 hours ago.
Did I hear you use the word was?
That's past tense.
I'm about ready to break for the car to get my winter gloves.
Indeed, it is a was. The 1-1 missed off the corner. 2 balls and a strike. Leominster's been very patient here against the dominant pitcher in Horton. Kate, you don't want her to have the count swinging in her favor.
No, certainly not, and you do not want to put things into the hands of an umpire.
2-1 called strike at the knees on the outside corner. 2-2 goes the count.
Comes a situation, if you see something that's in the vicinity, in the neighborhood, you got to jump on it.
Yeah, and get rid of it if you can't do anything with it. Horton set from the belt. The 2-2 hit on the ground slowly towards second. Palmer slides to her right, up with it and on to first. 4-3 the put out for out number 2.
Blue Devils doing a good job putting the ball in play here. Make the St. Paul Knights play defense, and you never know what's going to end up happening.
Okay, what I am seeing from Horton, to Bill Thomas's point, Leominster's making the contact, but Horton's keeping the ball knees and down. It's forcing Leominster to hit the ball on the ground. Always good if a pitcher can keep the ball down, keep them hitting it on the ground, not able to loft the ball and get any distance.
Kat Osterman-esque working knees and down with that drop pitch. Looks pretty good as it's coming in, and then it just falls right off the table. And if you can get that to be effective half of the time, anytime that there's contact by the opposition, it's not necessarily going to be solid contact. And if you have your defense behind you, they can make those routine plays.
First baseman Gasparo sees a first pitch ball, second pitch seam. This one down and in. 2-0 goes the count.
She does like that low end of the zone, seeing if she can get these Leominster hitters to chase.
Gasparo ready. Horton with the 1-1. Hit on the ground at first base. Mara up with it, keeps it herself. 3 unassisted, and that ends the inning.
Short work.
3 up and 3 down in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on for Leominster. Through 1 here from the Leominster Lassie League complex. It's Leominster nothing, St. Paul nothing. A break and we're back with more. This is our FM.
All right, I'll be back. I want to get my gloves.
Sounds like a plan.
And back to the Lassie League complex here in Leominster. Leominster again taking on St. Paul Diocesan, the Lady Knights, top of 2. And we have Horton both hitting and pitching today. So as Todd alluded to earlier, St. Paul going with a straight 9. Horton going to be hitting for herself in this one, going up against Belle Castro here to start things off in the second inning. Belle Castro first pitch is going to come in just a bit high there. And again, Horton, that imposing physical presence, very interesting. And could try Belcastro is to work the upper end of the zone on her. She's got plenty of room to work. And a swing and a miss there for strike one. That evens the count 1-1. Belcastro working against Horton here. Pitcher versus pitcher. We got a little duel going on between these two here to start the top of the second.
Doing a great job, Kate. Keep it up.
Well, you know, when I get abandoned by everybody, I just, don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Mention it. Hey, you're doing a great job, Kate.
Don't worry, friends.
Did he bring anything back for you?
He did. I have a jacket.
Oh, okay.
That's going to even the count 2-2 against Horton. Belcastro working both the upper and lower ends of the zone in this at bat. Horton doing a nice job being fairly patient. And that's going to bring it to a 3-2 count. So the payoff pitch coming up next. The last thing you want to do if you're Leominster's defense is to allow a first hitter on base here to start things off.
Horton pops this one wide and foul outside of the line. We'll try that 3-2 pitch again.
Sounds good. You want to take the play-by-play?
I didn't want to just cut you off like that.
Kate, finish your batting.
Anybody take it.
She's your batting, Kate.
Oh, my goodness.
Doing such a great
Nothing
job.
going on over here.
Such a great job. Whoa, coming at us.
Try another 3-2 pitch, shall we?
I'm not going to lie to you. I desperately want to move the third baseman back. Desperately want to move the third baseman back.
Says Kate Robbins, who, when she
Especially
was
with two
Kate
strikes.
Meyer playing third base at Leominster, scared varsity baseball athletes because
I
she
did.
played Bill Thomas 30
Right,
feet
yeah.
in. Same sport. 3-2 off speed, popped up, caught by the wind. This one's getting pulled left to right, and it will fall in.
And look at Horton go all the way to second. No hesitation there.
You know, and I think she knew that ball was going to be trouble, and she broke right out of the box. And I commented last inning, anything towards right field is going to be a circus for first, second, or right field, and fell right in between all three of them.
And this becomes the difficulty if you're Leominster's defense. You have a situation in which the wind is swirling out there on that right-hand side, and you unfortunately put a base runner on in scoring position right off the bat. So now St. Paul looking to capitalize on that.
And that one was heading toward the second base bag, got grabbed in the air, pulled all the way to shallow right field.
Exactly right, Todd. That started out totally a second baseman's ball, and you know, kept drifting towards the right field foul line, and just landed in an area where nobody could get to it.
Broderick, the left fielder, saw ball one. Here comes the 1-0. In the dirt all the way to the backstop, and that allows Horton to move up 60 feet.
Quickly gets down there, taking advantage of that wild pitch.
2-0 goes the count. Broderick, probably the first batter, I would say, on the smaller end of the spectrum that we've seen today. And for Belcastro, struggling a little bit to try to get in that smaller zone. Here's the 2-0. Off speed, fouled to the backstop.
Surprised
2-1.
are you at all that Horton running for herself as well?
That's a good point. Given the rules that allow the courtesy runner for the pitcher, I would say, yeah, a little bit surprised. But hey, I mean, as athletes go, she is a complete athlete from what we've seen thus far.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, the lack of hesitation getting to second, that she was there right off the bat, I was impressed.
And is there any advantage to, especially in a kind of a blustery day like today, the sun's in, it's cooling off, to keep your pitcher loose and maybe keep her out there active rather than on the bench?
I just don't want her to get hurt if I'm the coach. I do anything to protect that arm.
3-1 from Belcastro. Swung and missed. Wilson keeps the loose ball in front of her. There was no contact there.
Well, Thomas in softball, because you can ride a single arm for the vast majority of a season, they get treated like they're bubble children.
Put them front and center.
They have to be.
Payoff pitch to Broderick. Hard line drive up the gap in left center. Sliding over is Keenan. It tailed back to her. She'll make the catch. But Horton will tag and score. And it is a 1-0 St. Paul lead.
Put the ball in play. Good things happen. Sacrifice fly. Place a run right there.
So
nice bit of two-strike hitting, too, by
yes.
Broderick. Put the
Not
ball
wrong
in
there.
play.
And that brings Bella Romero, the right fielder, to the plate. Sees her first pitch. Popped up towards center field. Keenan, first step back, drifts over to right center and makes the catch for out number 2. Back-to-back flyouts to the center fielder. Wind picked up more on that one when the ball was in flight. You notice the tail was much sharper toward right center field on that one.
You know, and the wind is changing, Todd and Kay, from pitch to pitch. It seems like you don't know what you're going to get, and it just all of a sudden just swirls and pops right up, right around the diamond here.
Palmer sees a first pitch strike, the second baseman at the plate. Belcastro ahead 0-1, off the hip the 0-1. Came back over the plate late, called the ball, 1 strike. Belcastro steadies herself behind the slab, steps up. Here comes the 1-1. In the dirt, Wilson digs it out.
Nice job by Wilson, though, to get those feet back and keep that in front.
Belcastro takes a deep breath here. Ready now. 2-1 offering. Ball missed low and in. 3 balls and a strike.
Belcastro doing a good job keeping the ball down, but not getting that low pitch for a strike.
3-1. Line shot snared out of the air by Gasparo at first to end the threat. Not before one comes in. Natalie Horton gets herself on with the leadoff hit, ends up coming around and scoring after advancing on a wild pitch. Through 1.5 here from the Lassie League complex. St. Paul 1, Leominster nothing. 4, 5, 6, heart of the order due up for Leominster. Bottom of the second when we continue. This is RFM. To the bottom of the second we go. Wilson Churi due up for Leominster in the inning. 1-0 St. Paul's lead over Leominster. Thus far, though, through 2 innings, Leominster doing a good job to keep this vaunted St. Paul offense at least to limited fun. If you weren't with us right off the top of the broadcast, St. Paul 4-1 on the season. 3 of those 4 wins have been double-digit victories for the Knights. Horton's second inning of work starts Wilson off with a first pitch strike right on the outside corner.
That was beautiful.
She moves the ball around well, Kate.
Yeah, you're seeing that nice action right when it's breaking across the plate. Obviously, with that big stride, she's real close to you.
0-1, missed, kind of stabbed by Shea. And the count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. Surround that a little better as the year goes on and probably can pull that one. Here comes the 1-1. Called strike 2, juggled a bit by Shea, and 1 ball, 2 strikes goes the count.
Batter taking exception to that as she got out of the way, but with the amount of break on that pitch coming across the plate, it looks like it's coming right at your knees. It may have caught.
1-2 sends Wilson jackknifing out of the way again, this time called the ball, and the count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Unfortunately, as a batter, when you get into this position, you're guessing.
Oh, there's a lot of guessing going on right now.
Right, yeah.
Nothing you can do about it. Here comes the 2-2. Reached for it. They say she got a piece of it foul. And 2 balls and 2 strikes will continue the count again.
Yeah, you don't, never necessarily envy when you have, a pitcher that's able to work both the upper and lower, portions of the plate inside and outside, because now all of a sudden you're guessing.
Wind catches Wilson and causes her to step out of the box. She'll now step back in. Here comes the 2-2. Reached for that one, and it's a swinging K.
Good job right there by Horton working both sides of the plate.
And that's the type of at bat that, you know, as an athlete, you have to be able to shake off right away, because you get into kind of an awkward count and an awkward situation. You're seeing some pitches, things happen that you're not necessarily expecting. So you got to shake that type of an at bat off and come back strong the next time.
And Wilson had a .400 on base percentage coming into this one. Chury checks up the swing on the first offering. They check it down to Andrea Allen, and she says it is a strike. It looked like Chury went too far, and they are going to record it as such.
I would agree with that.
Chury now trying to time the pitch. She's showing bunt. It'll slide back as Horton comes to the plate. 0-1, missed outside. Count levels 1 ball, 1 strike. Now an overcast sky. The wind continues to pick up. Very gray day now here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. Totally different weather than we saw about 3 hours ago. 1-1. Down and in through Shea to the backstop. 2-1 goes the count.
Yeah, temperatures dropped by about 10 degrees, and I don't think we're going to see much more sun today.
I think we reached the high temperature at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I was going to say, just before we got here for setup today.
Well, they said the sun might disappear, but the temperature would continue to rise. I'm kind of doubting that right now.
2-1, called strike,
tough
knees
pitch right
outside.
there. Not only a knee pitch, but an outside pitch, a combination of a pitch. You can't, it's unhittable. And it's still a strike.
Yeah, it's a pitcher's pitch without question. And now Horton, the 2-2. Called strike 3.
Again.
Back-to-back Ks, one swinging, one looking for Horton against the Blue Devils here in the second. And that brings the third baseman, Anna Worry, to the plate.
Where are we in the order?
6 hole.
Thank you.
Worry stands in, shading the front half of that right-handed batter's box, and she sees a first pitch outer half call the strike.
Horton's been getting in a groove. First pitch strike. Leominster right now content to take a look at it.
Different than the bottom of the first inning, where Leominster spent most of the inning ahead in counts. And now the 0-1 cut on and missed. 0-2 in this second inning. As has been obvious, she's kept Leominster's middle of the order off balance and chasing pitches.
And Horton's in the driver's seat right now. She's getting ahead of these batters, and then she's just toying with them.
Here comes the 0-2, goes up and in, line shot, snared by Mara, and that's the way the inning will come. 6 batters to the plate through 2 innings, all retired one way or another for Horton and company. Through 2 here from the Leominster Lassie League complex. St. Paul 1, Leominster nothing. A break and we're back with more. This is RFM. To the top of the third we go. 9 top in the order for the Knights. It's Shea, Nordahl, and Condolis, 2 at the plate. 9-hole hitter, Ireland Shea, the lefty, shading the front half of the left-handed batter's box. Third inning of work for Bel Castro. Mixed results thus far through 2. Starts off Shea with a high strike, the rise ball, and she had a little wry smile there. Might have gone a little higher than she intended, but it worked.
She got her to chase.
Well, she got a lot of strike zone to work with there. Shea, another tall, lanky player.
0-1. Called strike on the outer half.
Little let-up pitch right there. Shea not quite ready for that one.
Belcastro now with a type of count that Horton has had.
Yes.
Working ahead, doing a nice job.
Spins the ball on the right hip. Conceals, and here comes the 0-2. Goes outside to waste, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And I like that idea there to waste low and outside, obviously seeing what Shea will chase at. She chased at that high pitch for the first strike, and then when you're in the driver's seat 0-2, you don't want to give her anything.
The 1-2 offering. Missed the outer corner. Belcastro wanted it and didn't get it. Count levels 2 balls, 2 strikes. Have you been surprised, Kate, by the number of batters on both sides that have shaded the front half of the batter's box? 2-2, cut on and missed by Shea.
Not necessarily, because in a situation like Horton, I understand what you're talking about, maybe getting the pitch before the break across the plate. But because of her size and because of her velocity, you're kind of, you're mincing.
I was expecting her to be middle back.
Yeah,
move back.
mincing.
I'd be getting rid of that back line if I was
See
you
how
guys.
far back you could get. As we go to Nordahl, she takes the first pitch she sees here in her second at-bat, pulls it wide of the line in left field.
Just a long strike.
That's right, in the hole 0-1. Struck out called in her first at-bat.
And I was looking at that when Leominster comes back up to the plate. They're kind of squared up with the plate. And, I would have thought they would have moved back in the box to just give them that little split second, but nobody's even approached the back of the box for either team.
Nordahl is level with home plate as she sees the 0-1 just at her toes, and to the backstop it goes. Count levels 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, with regard to velocity, Horton is an imposing presence, and so I think you're getting quite a bit of optical illusion with her. Obviously, she's got great velocity as well.
1-1 hit on the ground through the glove of Belcastro. It makes it to Chury, but took too long, and it's an infield single for Nordahl.
Hard hit ball right there. Pitcher almost made a play on it, just a little too quick back at it. Couldn't quite get that glove closed before it kind of blew right through the webbing there, but very hard hit ball back at her.
That brings Condalis to the plate, flew out to right field in her first at-bat in the first, sees her first pitch ball, and then off the glove of Wilson over to the near side. It's a passed ball and allows Nordahl to advance to second. You can hear the wind rattling the crowd mic here at the backstop in our diamond side broadcast position. 1-0 the count to Condalis, the center fielder. Here's the 1-0. Missed down and away, and 2-0 goes the count.
Got to stay around the strike zone here, though. Can't get any more pitches in the dirt. Last thing you want to do is put a runner on third with less than 2 outs. Runs are hot enough to come by.
Condalis scoots up in that left-handed box and sees a first pitch strike. Outer half, 2 balls, and a strike goes the count.
Nothing fancy coming out of the coaching box from Coach Amy Lee from St. Paul. So it looks like even with a left-handed batter up and a runner on second, they're going to play this straight up and let her hit.
2-1, takes a high pitch up and over the backstop, out of play, leveling the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Wind picking up now, blowing right in our face.
Indeed it
You
is.
can kind of hear it whistling a little bit more in our gear here, but very unpredictable.
Belcastro set, 2-2 pitch. In the right-handed batter's box wide, and the count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes goes the count. Belcastro toes the rubber. Runner on second is Nordahl. The payoff pitch. Chopped
Nice
foul and
spoil.
out of play.
That's a nice spoil.
That was a protect swing right there. But you're right, Kate. Nice spoil. You don't know, if they're going to give them that high strike, but it's something you got to swing at. You really don't want to, and you're hoping for a better pitch to hit, and she's going to get another chance at it.
And now Coach Amy Lee decides to take the conference. Coach Amy Lee, Kate, has been around a long time.
Yes.
She was with Holy Name
That means
prior.
that I've been around a long
Kate, we've all been around a long time as
I
the
see what you're
story
doing
goes.
here right now.
But she is a veteran, experienced coach,
is.
not just in the Worcester area, but she's been a part of this merged tradition. She was the head coach at Holy Name when, of course, the 2 programs came together, Holy Name and St. Peter Marian. And we've talked about, of course, the kind of athletic prowess of both schools prior to the merger. But in softball specifically, those were 2 powerful
Powerhouse.
softball programs with powerful traditions that came together to make this St. Paul program.
And Coach Amy Lee, also an alum of the Holy Name program herself. I had a conversation with her before the game today. We played her in the playoffs, and it was one of those situations where I was standing out defensively and basically just looking and saying, this isn't going to end well for us. I can already tell.
Another 3-2 from Belcastro, and Condolis waves at it for strike 3.
A very nice job by Belcastro there to take care of that batter herself.
You know,
Now
Condolis, number 2 batter, showing good back control up to that pitch right there, but one of those pitches you're trying to waste, but she just couldn't get her bat on at that time.
2 outs with 1 on here in the 3rd. Hit on the ground, right back up the middle for Mara into center field. Nordahl around 3rd and will score, and it's a 2-0 Knight lead. Sliding in with the single and advance on the play is Mara.
Nice bit of 2-out hitting right there, right up the middle, right back through the pitcher's box. Clean single.
Yeah, single on the ground into center field, is able to advance to second on the throw into home. And that's going to bring the timeout for Leominster, coming with 2 outs. And pitching coach Lee Bolak will head out to the circle to converse with Victoria Belcastro.
Pitch right there, got a little too much of the strike zone to the number 3 hitter, took advantage of it, and Blue Devils find themselves down 2-0 right now. But the last thing you want to do is let another run play themselves. They let that ball go through the cutoff. St. Paul got another runner in scoring position. You cannot let that 3rd run score.
Okay, you're looking to limit the damage here, as Bill Thomas said, which at this point means you need to get out of the inning, and out in any way, shape, or form is the goal.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that, and it's about stopping the bleeding. Right now, St. Paul's is in the part of their lineup that can do the most damage, because you got your 4, and then you have a very formidable 5-hole hitter in Horton coming up here in rapid succession. So right now, Belcastro and the Leominster D behind her really do need to get out of this one and try to limit the amount of damage and get the bats going.
Third baseman Alexa Teig comes to the plate. Grounded out to Belcastro on her first at-bat. Swings and misses at a ball in the dirt. Ball rolls all the way to the backstop. A passed ball on Wilson, and it allows Mara to advance 60 feet.
Yeah, right through the wickets there. Not a bad pitch, but a little low. Just couldn't get the glove turned.
So nice job getting that first pitch strike, though, against the batter.
Wind continues to howl. The 0-1 takes this one out of play. 0-2 for Teig with 2 outs here. Runner is just 60 feet from scoring, with Mara standing down at 3rd.
This is exactly the situation that you want to be in if you're Belcastro, working well ahead on the 4 batter. Now just have to be careful.
Yeah, you got it exactly right.
Now.
You ended that sentence right, Kay. You got to remember, you might be 0-2, but you're 0-2 on the number 4 hitter here. She's a cleanup hitter for a reason. Fully expect her to put the ball in play.
It's a cat and mouse
Castro
game.
with the 1-2. Inside out and just foul outside of first base.
And I think that bounced over the foul side bag, the orange bag
Safety
out
bag,
here,
yep.
the player bag, the runner bag, but that's not the one you judge on.
Nope, it is
They
not.
got a break right there.
Indeed, and what a great way to get her hands inside of that ball and take it with her to right field. Another 1-2 offering from Belcastro in the dirt. Scurries away from Wilson. Another pass ball and another run will score.
Tough way to give up that 3rd run.
Ahead in the count with 2 outs, and the runner started the at-bat at second base, and 2 pass balls later and a handful of pitches, Leominster finds themselves down 3-0.
Well, that's the difficulty when you're ahead in the count and you've had some wild pitches and pass balls. You need to be able to keep those runners on base, and unfortunately, uncharacteristically, situation where that ball continuing to squeak by to the backstop.
You get up 0-2, you want to nibble a little bit, but you're a little too off on your nibbling. Next thing you know, a couple of balls that catcher can't handle and produce another run.
2-2, called strike 3. Connor looking to end the threat. 2 runs in the inning for the Knights, able to clear the bases. Just a pair of singles and a whole lot of fun through 2.5 here from the Leominster Lassie League complex. St. Paul 3 and Leominster comes back to the plate with 7-8-9 due up here in the bottom of the 3rd. More to come. This is RFM. To the bottom of the third we go here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. Great to have you along with us here on this same-day delay broadcast here on RFM. It's been a fantastic day thus far. The sun continues to disappear, and Kate, there are no lights here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. So as the skies continue to darken for seemingly no apparent reason, Kate's going to try to open up, get you a little more light here on what we can see on our home plate angle. Horton comes into her third inning of the work. Leominster still looking to get through the order once. Belcastro will lead off here in the bottom of the third and sees a first pitch ball from Horton.
Trying to get as much light in these cameras as I
know.
can.
Here comes the 1-0 offering. Missed just off the corner, and 2-0 Belcastro is ahead of Horton. Witzgal, the DP, comes up next, and Beelan, the right fielder. That's what's due up to close out the order for Leominster. Trying to go through the order one time versus Division I commit Horton. 2-0, chopped on the ground by Belcastro, foul. 2 balls and a strike goes the count. And Kate, if you're Leominster right now, you can't get 3 on any one play, so to speak. Right now, you've got to try to build this back one at a time.
Essentially, the first step is get somebody on base so that you have a situation in which you've got a base runner to be able to play with. Right now, Leominster coaching staff doesn't have anybody really to do anything with. They don't have any base runners. So that's the first step, is getting a hit or getting a walk or getting hit by something, anything that you can do to get on base.
2-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. It's on the ground. Catcher Shea up with it on to first, and the strikeout stands for out number 1. Kate, tough at bat there for Belcastro. She was up 2-0 in the count.
Yep.
And then Horton comes back with low and away, gets her to chase twice, and then chase the third time for strike 3 with an even count.
Well, and that's a situation where if you're up 2-0 on the count, you want to essentially wait for something that you fall in love with. And because Horton is able to essentially conceal, all of that movement on her pitch, it looks beautiful coming out of the hand, and then you get that late break, and all of a sudden it's not so pretty.
Freshman Witzgal has swung at the first 2 pitches she's seen. Took one out of play on the first baseline, and this one chopped foul outside of third base, and she's in the hole 0-2, right where Horton wants her.
Exactly right about that.
Horton rocks and fires on 0-2, called strike 3.
That's one, although it is clearly outside. It's going to bite just enough of that outside corner, and if you're down 0-2, you got to spoil that on the outside portion of the plate. That is usually going to get called more often than not here in high school softball.
Indeed it will, and Ella Beelan comes to the plate, swings at the first pitch she sees, grounded at second base, shoveled on to first, not in time, and Beelan's got herself a 2-out infield single.
That's going to be an error on the second baseman to put the Leominster batter.
Juggled the ball there, Kate?
Oh, yes, very much so.
So E4, says Kate. Bill Thomas gives his assent.
Official scorer back on duty.
Bill Thomas returning from...
I'm about as geared up as I'm going to get.
And now with 2 outs, Leominster are going to have to try to manufacture something. I believe this is their first base runner on of the game.
It is.
So going to have to figure something out here with 2 outs. Coverage over with the shortstop.
Broke up a perfect game, Kate, here in the bottom of the third inning.
It did.
And that ball misses for ball number 1 to Keenan, the center fielder. Grounded out to third base in her first at bat, first out of the game. 1-0 called, strike on the inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Feeling good in a decent jump there off of first base, being held on by that first baseman. Corners on the right side are back. Third baseman is in for St. Paul. Shortstop again covering second for a throwdown.
Horton pulls the string on that one and missed inside. 2-1 goes the count.
A little bit of flinching back there behind the plate.
Yeah, struggling a little bit back there, I think. And, of course, Kate, you've got a pitcher in Horton who is absolutely skill-wise ahead of the curve. On the 2-1, missed the outside corner, goes to 3-1. Meanwhile, you've got a catcher who, of course, has got to rise to that level, and not every athlete is a perfect find. Horton stares in. Here's the 3-1. Looked for the outside, and Keenan waited for permission to go, but that is most definitely ball 4.
Not really sure right there, but got the call that time. Moves the base runners up. Keeps the line moving.
Station to station, Beelan down to second. Keenan with the walk, 2 outs here. And Leominster making a little noise for the first time. Abby Barnaby grounded out to second in her first at bat. Second look here at Horton. And line shot foul outside of first base, 0-1.
If you're Leominster, this is who you want up here to try to manufacture this run. And you've got runners now. You have 1 runner in scoring position, but you got 2 ducks on the pond, and you've got one of your most formidable hitters up. And right now, Barnaby fearless going after that first pitch strike.
She's shifted herself back in the box a little bit, plants the front foot, floats this one toward right field, and over the shoulder, Palmer will make the catch from second base in shallow right field. Leominster makes a little noise in the third, but it's all for naught. 3 complete here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. St. Paul 3, Leominster nothing. More to come. This is RFM.
We got Horton.
Yes, we do. And to the top of the 4th we go here on RFM. Great to have you along with us here on a Thursday in our same-day delay coverage here on Facebook.com/Media Rivalry. Or if you're joining us on YouTube, that's YouTube.com, search Rivalry Family Media. Or it's tinyurl.com/Media Rivalry will take you directly to our all-time YouTube archive. Horton leads things off here, as Bill Thomas mentioned, in the 4th, and she has got a 1-1 count.
Blue Devils got to come back with a shutdown inning right here. And, you know, they started to make some noise, but you can't let St. Paul pile on the runs here when you're having trouble manufacturing your own.
Doubled and a run scored for Horton in her first at-bat as she sees strike 2 cross the dish. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Horton. Here comes the 1-2. Off speed, floated above the belt, and the count levels. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Horton's reaction on that
she
was
wasn't
fabulous.
sure.
She was smiling.
I get another hack at it, huh?
She'll take another opportunity.
Her
Bel
facial
Castro ready.
expressions are
2-2. She gets rid of that one up and out of play, and we'll take another look at a 2-2 pitch.
Nice job protecting the plate right there. The low outside pitch. It's been a strike all day. Just took a little wave at it.
Spoiled it off.
Bel Castro stares in again. Another 2-2 offering. Fouled again to the backstop by Horton.
Got me ducking. We got a fence in front of us.
Saw that one
See
back
how that
into your
looked on
living
the
room
camera,
there, Bill
yeah.
Thomas.
Have to look back at that one.
Bel Castro takes the walk around the slab. Finds herself in a battle here with Horton, looking to start the 4th off in the right direction. Third 2-2 offering. Up and away, and the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Ooh. Sorry. I knew it was going to happen eventually.
3-2 pitch. Misses high, and it's ball 4 to Horton. First walk of the day, surrendered by Belcastro.
And Horton was the one that got the first rally going for the Knights, and so you're putting her on base again. She's running for herself, although that makes me incredibly nervous. I will say it every single time. Every time I will say it.
Brings Jamie Broderick to the plate, sees a first pitch ball.
And is there any type of situation where the future college coach might try to influence
Well, if I'm Danielle
how the high
Henderson-
school coach is using their future star player?
If I'm Danielle Henderson, I'm just going to close my eyes. Just close my
But
eyes.
is there, in fact, is there ever that kind of communication, Kate, when somebody commits and then, you're looking
I would
at
sure hope not.
the way they play, but
it would technically be illegal. So I would sure hope not.
Highly frowned
we're
upon.
talking hypothetically, off the record. Nobody,
This one hit on the
nice
ground by
in the
Broderick and into left field. It is a single. Station to station base running. Horton advances down to second, and Broderick's got herself a single.
In the middle of this order for St. Paul's has been doing a really nice job getting things going. This is the situation that you want to be in. 2 runners on with no outs. Leominster had to try to do all that work with runners on base with 2 outs in the bottom half of the third, and so this is the situation. If you're St. Paul's, you've got no outs, 2 runners on. You get to play around here.
1-1 is fouled to the backstop by Romeo. Romeo flew out to center field in her first at-bat for the second out of the second inning. Catching change also noted here, by the way. There was a position swap defensively. Wilson has now gone out to right field for Leominster. Ella Beelan now come in to catch. She was warming up the second pitcher for Leominster in warm-ups.
Nice
And to expand on that a little bit, going back to the last defensive inning for Leominster, during that timeout when they had 2 outs and they were trying to stop that rally, I noticed the catcher came over to the dugout. Here, finish this.
Yeah, this is a fly ball, and it will fall in front of the center fielder, Keenan. Horton waited because she had to see if that ball would hang up long enough to be caught, but it does allow her, once the ball gets down, to advance to third base. So bases juiced here for the Knights.
So I noticed the catcher, Wilson, came over, was flexing her throwing hand, her right hand, like she had taken a ball off her thumb or something of that fashion. So I think that might have necessitated the defensive change at catcher.
And so we go to the 8-hole. Megan Palmer, the second baseman, is due up, and she's having a conversation down with Horton and Coach Amy Lee at third. She lined out to first base in the second inning, her first at bat.
Bases juiced here, nobody out.
Infield in.
So you're looking to go home. You'd like to get 2 for 1 here potentially. Belcastro's offering is down and in, and reaching forward is Beelan, and is able to keep it near.
Yeah, Beelan's got to keep everything in front of her here. Got to drop down on those low pitches, protect the wickets.
Keep it in front, keeps runners where they are, but it's not going to matter. It's a gap shot here into left center. 1 run is in Horton. Around third, heading to home. We got to play at the plate. The relay is in, the tag, and out at home is Broderick.
Play goes
does score
11
on the
to
play.
3 to 12. Good job by the first baseman getting over there. Everybody in position. Pitcher backing up third base. First baseman in the circle. Playing that cutoff perfectly. Nice relay. Good job right there to get that out. Cut down that second base runner trying to score in that hard single up the middle.
8-3-2, the put out, Bill Thomas, there for the.
That was
the
8 to 3 to 2. That is correct, Todd.
For out number 1, as this one is fouled wide by Shea.
And that's
for strike
just
1.
Great fundamental baseball right there. When the ball's in play, the players rotate, they know where they should be, and it turned into an out right there at the plate.
It becomes fortuitous for the defense there because that runner on second had to hesitate just to make sure that ball made it to the outfield grass, and so she was not able to go on the hit. So Coach Amy Lee sending her. But it becomes a little bit of a situation where there's a bit of a delay. So she rounds third, and there's enough communication to allow for that relay to come in to home in order to get that out. So a fortuitous defensive opportunity for Leominster to get that out, but they do let the run score.
0-2 count. Shea goes too far, and she's recorded for a strikeout. Out number 2 in this top of the 4th inning. That's a pair of swinging strikeouts for Shea. She is a little puzzled in her at-bats thus far. Back to the top of the order we go for St. Paul. It's Nordahl, struck out looking in her first at-bat, singled in a run scored in her last at-bat last inning, and she'll discard that one wide and foul down the right field line.
Blue Devils trying to get out of this inning, limit the damage to 1 run here. Considering the bases were loaded with no outs, I think that would be a good out here.
Indeed it would. The 0-1 is up over the backstop and into the front row. 0-2 goes the count.
Caught a tree and then caught a fan.
Belcastro here in a situation where she's up 0-2, wants to nibble on the corners. Nothing too good to the batter, but with 2 base runners on and having some communication issues back and forth relative to pass balls.
0-2, able to knock it down. Beelan, the throw, play at third is not in time. And so able to advance. The pitch was wide but controlled by Beelan, and the runner just went in what we would say, Kate, ill-advised, but it worked.
Ill-advised, but it worked in that situation. When you have a catcher opening up to that third base side, the play is in front of her. And so obviously it shortens the distance from that catcher to that throw down to third base. And as you said, probably ill-advised to go there. It was a little bit closer of a play than we would have normally thought of on kind of an errant positional play by Beeland behind home plate. But it was the right call by the base umpire. Actually, the home plate umpire had a much better view of it because the play opened up to home plate, but it was clear that the base runner ends up being safe as Beeland does a little bit of a double clutch there to try to get the ball down to third base. It's one of those situations where as a catcher, you don't want, you want to throw the ball, but it's one of those situations where you're having to make that call, and it's essentially sight unseen. It's blind. You don't necessarily know, is the defensive player going to be there? And so you have to trust your defensive players when that type of a situation happens. And then sometimes if you take a second and think, you end up double clutching in that situation. That may be what you saw there. But regardless, runners on second and third now, 2 outs for St. Paul. Still 4-0, so not a lot of damage.
Breakaway bags over at third base on the steal. The bag flew out, the hole filled in. Andrea Allen had to try to dig it out in order to get it back in. Need your shovels here on this stone dust surface as Nordahl discards that one up and out of play. And we'll see another 1-2 pitch in what has been a bit of a long delay as they try to clear out third base. And Kate, I'm not entirely certain that's still in the best position, but it'll work. Runners on second and third. 1-2 pitch. Nordahl got a bat on it, and that one rings the fence wide of the left field fence, and we'll have a third 1-2 pitch coming up in this at bat.
Yeah, you're looking at that third base bag. It looks a little high. It's got a placement mount in the ground that they were having trouble with, and
try to take it out. You try to dump it out.
Hope it's stable enough that nobody twists an ankle around in the bag. That's all.
There was a time, Bill Thomas, we used to carry scrapers in order to empty them out. This one's going to be up and out of play.
Fine. You're fine. Everybody calm down.
Cover the equipment.
You're fine.
Cover the equipment and your wife. That is
the
two responsibilities.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
I did. I covered my wife. See that? Somebody take notes.
Bill Thomas, noticeably,
my God.
I looked up and I was like, and we're fine.
Hey,
who's the
all right, we'll
athlete
go
in
with
the
that.
family?
Nobody's ever going to say
covering up
anything.
the wife.
The 1-2 pitch, swing and a
Nice
miss,
job.
and the inning's over.
My word.
We'll go with that.
Absolutely. A lot of singles in the inning, and a walk got everything started. Horton, the walk and the run scored to open the inning. Otherwise, Leominster able to make a play to get the first out at home in order to stop some of the bleeding. Handful of singles and just the 1 run through 3.5 here from the Leominster Lassie League complex.
I feel like you're being a little overprotective of it.
It's 4-0, the lead for St. Paul over Leominster. Maybe we'll chronicle that when we come back in the bottom of the 4th. More to come. This is RFM. We continue to the bottom of the 4th inning. And here we go. Leominster comes to the plate looking to cut into this 4-0 lead that the Knights have amassed here through their 4 innings at bat. Leominster here in the bottom of the 4th. Heart of the order again, 3, 4, 5, 6 potentially due up. Gasparo sees a first pitch ball, grounded out to the first baseman to end the threat in the first. Second opportunity to see Horton here at the plate today, and it's a first pitch ball.
Leominster trailing 4-0 here. Got to make something happen.
1-0, chopped on the ground. A lot of spin on that one.
Innings winding down here. Heart of the order coming up. Expect to get some base runners, try to cut into this 4-0 lead.
Horton on the slab. She'll look in at Gasparo. Here's the 1-1, chopped on the ground wide here at first.
You know, we were commenting about the position of the base in the batter's box, Kate, and I don't see the Lady Blue Devils moving back at all. They're kind of right even with the plate, just kind of squaring up and not really giving themselves that little extra advantage.
Well, the amount of movement that you're seeing on
1-2 hit on the ground. It's a backhand stab by Mara, and it's 3 unassisted. What a great play by Mara.
Great play on the backhand right there. Hustle back to the bag.
In the book, that won't look near as good as it did in real life. What a great play out there at first base.
I'll just go down as a 3 unassisted, but yeah, ranging to her right. That's not an easy play on the backhand right
Backhand stab. Wilson comes to the plate. First pitch ball. Swinging strikeout victim in her first at bat in the second.
Wind picking up again. It calmed
Indeed
down
it is.
there for a while.
For a minute, it actually was almost warm.
Yeah.
Tacitly warm, we'll say.
Reminded us that it's only the second week in April.
Horton buries that
Third week in
screwball on the belt of Wilson, and it's 1-1 goes the count.
And that's that inside movement that I was wondering if we would see from her. Not afraid to go inside on that right-handed batter coming at her again. This is exactly what she did in the last at-bat against this batter as well. Toyed with her on that inside portion of the plate and got the batter guessing.
Horton ready again. 2-1 offering. Goes outside this time, bends it wide, and Wilson cuts and misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes goes the count.
Choking up.
Horton ready's 2-2. Swing and miss. Catch clean by Shea. Out number 2 here in the bottom of the 4th.
There are some situations, I can tell you, having been a batter against Coach Amy Lee from St. Paul, there are some days you just have to tip your cap because they just have your number.
And she's in a groove, Horton is right now.
Yeah.
Finding her stride after struggling a little bit in the third inning and come right back with 2 quick bounce back outs here in the
But you can
fourth.
see it with some batters more than some of the others where she just knows exactly what she wants to do. She has her setup pitches available, and she is essentially just toying with some.
And we're talking about the 3, 4, 5 hitters
I
in the
know.
Blue Devil lineup, too. This isn't 7, 8, 9 that she's toying with.
Chury gets ahead in this count, 2-0. She was caught looking back in the second.
But it becomes one of those situations where you have to just tip your cap and just say, okay, I got to go out and find a way to just make contact.
2-0. Missed the outside. 3-0 goes the count. Chury is in probably the best spot a Leominster batter's been since back in the first.
I am praying that there's another ball.
If this one's not down the tube, I wouldn't take the one off the shoulder, and there it is, outer half for strike 1.
Are you surprised we haven't seen the Blue Devils do a little more bunting today, or just to try to get the defense moving, just laying the bat out there rather than take hacks, Kate?
It becomes a situation. What type of a lineup do you have? What kind
3-1, hit on the ground, juggled by Palmer, up with it in 4-3. Goes the putout to end the threat. Kate, go ahead and complete that
And
thought.
it becomes a situation, what type of weapons do you have in certain situations? You don't always have a situation where it's as silly as this might sound, you do not always have an athlete that can, number one, get the bunt down and have the speed to get on base. For instance, I will put myself out there.
You want a bunt?
No, I could get the bunt down. I am as slow as molasses.
You just couldn't outrun
and
the play.
You could have created a campfire,
use a clock?
roasted marshmallows, had a s'more, and I'm still just halfway to first base. I could get the bunt down anytime you wanted it. I just couldn't get to a base to save my life. So you have to, if you're a coaching staff, assess the situation. What type
Know
of
your
weapons
players.
do you have? Do you have a situation where you can rely on a batter to, number one, get the ball down, get it down consistently, and be able to get on base, because right now Leominster, that base runners have been at a premium. And so it becomes a situation, does it behoove you to try to manufacture a base runner out of thin air? Or do you hope that somebody gets on and then you start playing with the chess pieces? And then where are you in the lineup? Do you want to take your bat off the
well, you typically don't take your 3, 4, 5.
3, 4,
yeah. They're not your typical bunters, too, Kate.
Right.
So, exactly, I get the point.
Here comes my
Exactly.
favorite part, Bill Thomas. Of course, she just gave just a little glimpse at her resume there. I could get the bunt down anytime I want.
I could.
Which reminds me, the back
About the
half
baseball.
of this vacation week doubleheader. We're out
Get ready,
for
Leominster High
Trust
School
me,
baseball.
at 11
If any
a.m.
of the
start.
Leominster baseball players are listening, remember Kate's words. I can get the bunt down anytime I want.
And that tomorrow alludes to our next broadcast, which comes up
Absolutely. I
tomorrow,
knew where you were going.
11 a.m., Doyle Field.
Be ready, boys.
Leominster and Shrewsbury, and the return of the mean bunt lady comes
Everybody else
back
a
tomorrow. It's Leominster and Shrewsbury boys
we were
baseball
joking about
action.
nicknames prior to the game.
I'm the mean butt lady.
Kate's the mean bunt
That's
lady.
me. Get ready, boys. I'm
Given to
coming
you
back.
by, who was it, Timmy Smith? Who was it that gave you that nickname, the catcher
Oh,
last year?
so funny as we go to the top of the
Oh,
fifth.
solid
First
line
pitch
drive.
swinging, and it's a line drive caught by Barnaby
That's
at
a
second base.
nice play by Barnaby there. Quick one out for Leominster's defense. That's exactly how you want to start off an inning, especially right now in the top of the fifth.
A tinge too much fun, but Shrewsbury and Leominster boys baseball, 11 a.m. first pitch scheduled tomorrow. We'll have it for you in delay. It'll be same day to YouTube. Then we'll have it for you on Saturday for replay action. 6-3 goes that put
Two
out as
quick
jury
outs.
for Gasparo, and economical 2 pitches and 2 outs.
Nice job by the middle infielders for the Leominster Lady Blue Devils there. As you said, 2 pitches, 2 outs.
And that's the kind of inning Gasparo would like to spin, and that brings
3 for
tied
3.
to the plate. Ground ball at first. Up with it, Gasparo. 3 unassisted. Inning over.
There you go.
A sorely needed clean sheet for Leominster. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. And just the minimum faced in an inning for Belcastro. Through 4.5 here from the Leominster Lassie League complex. It's 4-0. St. Paul on top of Leominster. Break and we're back with more. This is RFM. As we head to the bottom of the fifth inning, Leominster 6, 7, 8 due up in the inning here on RFM, and great to have you with us. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. First of our spring action here on RFM starts with fast pitch softball today, moves to baseball tomorrow and through the weekend as well. And then, of course, we'll have appearances by boys and girls lacrosse as well, and hopefully some boys volleyball as well as the spring continues. This one hit on the ground by Worry is wide at first foul, and Worry will see another pitch. Worry, Belcastro, Whitscow due up.
I love the spring sports season. It's such a variety.
This one's hit on the ground. Palmer up with it and on to Mara at first. 4-3 the put on for out number 1 here in the bottom of the fifth. And that brings Victoria Belcastro to the plate. Struck out swinging in her first at-bat, back in the third. Horton, first pitch, swing and a miss.
Megan Palmer having a busy day out there at second base for St. Paul. She got 3 assists, plus she's got a fly line drive that she caught for an out. Playing a very nice second base today out there.
Count level, 1 ball, 1 strike.
St. Paul.
Yeah, indeed. And, of course, that's a little, I would say, maybe a little unusual. Leominster maybe a little late getting to that one.
Ooh.
Belcastro jackknifed out of the way, and Horton snuck that one in on the corner for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes goes the count. Belcastro looks out, Horton ready, 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's out number 2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Brings Victoria Witzgal, the DP, to the plate. Struck out looking back in the 3rd. Horton ready. First offering to Witzgal in her second at bat is a ball off the outside corner. Horton ready, here's the 1-0. Screwball fouled wide at 3rd as Witzgal gets rid of that one. But stuck in there, Kate, and of course, a lot of high school age pitchers afraid to work that inner half of the plate, so hitters not used to having to hit on the inner half.
So you're so used to having to reach the outside portion of the plate, you get jammed up on the inside, and it looks like it's going to hit you because you're not used to seeing it come so far inside. But when you have an elite pitcher and they're able to nibble on that inside corner, all of a sudden you realize there are 2 halves to the plate.
Indeed there are. Chop that one, fouled at Witzgal. Now looks at a 1-1, swing and a miss, inning over. 3 up and 3 down in the inning in the 5th for Leominster. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. 5 complete here at the Leominster Lassie League Complex, St. Paul 4. Leominster scoreless. More to come. This is RFM. Action continues as we go to the top of the 6th. Here on RFM, we have no fun here on Rivalry Family Media. No, maybe we have a whole lot of fun. Great to have you a part of our family here each and every broadcast. And great to have you with us here on the start of our spring season. Horton sees a first pitch swinging. Chury gets the ball on the ground over to first. Pulled her wide through the hands of the first baseman, Gasparo. And as the ball scampers away, it allows Horton to advance. Kate, I like an infield single there. The error on the follow-up play.
Yeah, I get an E6 on that.
She was safe at first base.
I think a good throw might have had it, but I'll let you take the vote on
All right, I appreciate that. I like a single advanced on an error going down to second base. Brings Broderick, the left fielder, to the plate. Broderick sack fly for an RBI in her first at bat to center field. Then a single and got cut down at home on a play at the plate in the 4th. Sees a first pitch ball. Now the 1-0. Pops this one up. Wind's got it. It will pull it to the left of the shortstop Chury, who will slide over and make the catch.
Nice job, just as the wind really kicks up too, but hit straight into the wind. Just had to judge how deep that was going to be. Good job circling under it.
And you're in a situation where normally that would be a routine pop-up, but because of the swirling winds in this early spring season, we see this a lot in the month of April here in Massachusetts.
Ball in the dirt, the first offering to Romeo, and it allows, on the wild pitch, Horton to scamper the extra 60 feet to third base.
You see this swirling type of wind, and so there really isn't a situation that you can call routine most of the time in the month of April with softball, baseball, and these bat ball sports.
1-0, chopped foul by Romeo. Flew out to center field in her first at-bat, singled and stranded at third in her second at-bat, and now in a level count, 1 ball, 1 strike. I want to look back at Horton's line here just a little bit. Been on base in every single time she's come to the plate, 2 walks and a single, and she scored the first 2 at-bats. She's able to score here. She will have accounted for 3 of St. Paul's runs in the ball game just simply by leading off innings and getting good things started.
Well, now we know why she's base running for herself.
That about explains it. This one was fouled off. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You got to talk about your book, Todd.
Uh-oh, Bill Thomas is disagreeing.
I had Horton for a double her first time up. She
1-2.
had that wind-blown double down the right field line.
Yes.
Called strike 3.
She's actually 2 for 2 with a walk.
It is a double, Bill Thomas. You're
Yep.
right. Double.
I got to
walk,
give her credit
and a
where
single.
credit's due. She put the ball in play, did a good job hustling. She's 2 for 2 with a walk today, a couple of runs scored.
Now that's called Todd couldn't read his own handwriting.
That's okay.
It's a backward K on Romeo for out number 2, and Palmer sees the first pitch she likes, fouls it to the backstop. She's in the hole 0-1.
These last couple of innings, I've been pretty impressed with Bel Castro. Obviously, that 5th inning defensively for the Blue Devils was about as perfect as you can get.
Yeah.
Right now,
Economical.
Sands,
Well, we talked about it was almost the version of an immaculate inning with the
0-1.
ball put in play. 3 pitches, 3 outs.
if
Off-speed
you
foul.
take out the Horton at bat here in the 6th, she's been doing a nice job as well. So Bel Castro for Leominster in these latter innings, doing a nice job just settling in and really working the count for her defense.
And facing some adversity, which I think is, the first time maybe in a season right off the bat where she has faced a lot of adversity, as this one gets uppercutted out of play by
You know what I
Palmer.
like most, though? She's out there. She's still smiling. She's still enjoying herself. She is, you can very easily in this situation be frustrated, especially going up against another quality team, and she's not.
0-2 off speed. Hit on the ground, slow to Chury, on to first. Andrea Allen double clutches and records the out at first
Couldn't
base.
find the umpire.
Indeed. Well, that's one of the tough parts of the 2-man system, Bill Thomas.
In the
You end
middle.
up in the hole, way out behind shortstop. Bang, bang play at first. She picked the right one of the options, and it is an out at first base by half a step. Put out goes 6-3 in the inning for out number 3. 5.5 complete here at the Leominster Lassie League complex, and Leominster able to strand a couple of St. Paul runners in that inning. That's the good news in the inning. Through 5.5, Leominster finds themselves in the hole on the bad news of things. 4-0. They need to find 4 in 2 at-bats. 6 outs left and more to
Time to
come.
get
This is RFM. To the bottom of the sixth we go here on RFM, and Leominster finds themselves in the middle of their order. 6, 7, 8 due up in the inning. Wari Belcastro Witzkow due up in the inning for Leominster as Horton continues out on the slab. She's been threatened, but Leominster has not, to this point, got themselves a base hit, as that is a called strike on the inside.
Horton allowed 2 base runners last inning on a walk and an error, but Blue Devils unable to cash in. Other than that, Horton's been perfect. Still pitching a no-hitter with even though those 2 base runners.
I want to correct what I said off the top. It's 9 top for Leominster in the inning. I put my line in the wrong spot. So it's Beelan, Keenan, Barnaby due up in the inning. That's strike 2 to Beelan.
I have to tell you, the extra
I was going to say, it's game 1, can you tell?
Flex player kind of throws me off, too. Because I had her batting in the first inning, and I didn't realize we were back at the top.
0-2, swung and missed. Beelan, first out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Leominster down to their final 5 outs.
Now, if you are Leominster, you want to make sure that you get some base runners on here with the top of the order. If you're taking a look at the defensive alignment for St. Paul, outfield shaded well to the right side of the field, so there's a lot of space in left field from the line all the way. A lot of shading to the right. Out there are the outfielders.
Yeah, St. Paul coaching staff definitely not expecting the Lady Blue Devils to pull anything.
Keenan on the 1-0, floats this one into center field. It'll fall in the triangle, and there goes the no-hitter.
Exactly right.
A no-hitter through 5, and Leominster gets their first hit with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and it's the center fielder Keenan who gets Leominster on the board.
Clean hit, well placed, right behind second base.
Now let's see what gets manufactured here.
Kate, you said it going to break. Got to get creative. Barnaby shows bunt, pulls back the throw, down to second. They are recording it as an out. It was a great play by Nordahl to cover the ball, but I believe she delivered the shoulder block there for an obstruction of Keenan before she caught the ball, but it was a bang play. No replay here in high school softball. I would like to see that one over and over and over again.
No conversation either.
Yeah, nobody wants to ask a question about that, but the timing of that play was off just a shade. Looked like an obstruction to my eye from where I'm sitting. The body contact happened before the possession and tag.
Put out goes 2-6. But, yeah, it looked like ball and player arrived simultaneously. All 3, defense, offense, and ball all arrived at the same point, all at the same time.
1-1 pitch. Barnaby laces a line drive through the glove of Nordahl, and Barnaby is on with a single.
Give her a hot hit single right there. Absolutely. Nice job right there by Abby.
And the wind continues to whip here at the Leominster Lassie League complex on what has definitely been at least a 3-season day, maybe heading to our 4th season here if we get a little precipitation before this one is out.
Oh, yeah, let's jinx it.
That brings Gasparo to the plate. She's grounded out to first base in both of her at-bats. Hits on the ground, right at the first baseman. Up with it is Mara. On to first. It's 3 unassisted, and that is the way the 6th will end. 4 come to the plate. Leominster picks up a couple of singles in the inning, breaking up the no-hitter, but that is the lone positive statement through 6. 4-0, the lead for St. Paul. 1 more at-bat for the visitors to pad their lead and make this hill much harder for Leominster to climb. 4-0, St. Paul through 6 here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. This is RFM. To the top of the 7th we go here on RFM, and it will open with a pinch hitter. The catcher, Shea, Ireland Shea, will be pinch hit for May McGowan will pinch hit. Shea struck out swinging in both of her at-bats, and of course, as Kate had noted, in both at-bats, looked like she might have been guessing here, so Coach Lee will go to the bench, bring McGowan in. She sees a first pitch ball in her first at-bat against Belcastro. 4-0 the lead for St. Paul over Leominster. 1-0, that's a strike down the middle. 1-1 goes the count. Belcastro ready. Off the hip, the 1-1. Swing and a miss from McGowan. And the pinch hitter finds herself in the hole, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We have already been told Shea will re-enter the ball game and will resume her catching duties in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here comes the 1-2, off speed down the middle, and McGowan sends a hot shot to center field, and Keenan will range to her right and make the catch.
Nice job right there by Keenan, tracking that down all the way. She played a very good center field today. She has 3 or 4 putouts in this tough wind. Has an outfield assist.
And back to the top of the order we go. It's Emma Nordahl, the shortstop. 2 Ks in both ways. Caught looking in her first at-bat, swinging in her last at-bat. In between, single and a run scored. Ball misses off the corner from Belcastro to Nordahl.
2 Ks, a single, and a strong shoulder on the putout.
Indeed, and very much so. Cross-body block style. The 1-0. Hit on the ground, booted at shortstop by Chury, up with it late and not able to scurry back into the play. It is an E6 that will have Nordahl reach.
Had the play right in front of her, just couldn't get it on that tricky hop.
Had to range a little bit, and of course the hops off of this stone dust surface, far different than what you would see off of a clay surface.
A lot of divots.
Condolis will stick the bat out there and foul this one to the dugout area on the third base side. She's in the hole 0-1. Kate, you played on just about every surface that there was. Stone dust, the hardest?
Stone dust was not. It just hurt.
It's not very user-friendly. Is that what you'd say, Kate?
Stone dust would hurt. I mean, I'm
it's
partial
called
to the stone
dust
yeah.
for a reason.
I'm partial to the Litchfield Street clay, but
which was Leominster's home field
just
for
myself.
your entire career.
That's just
or
me.
at least a nice infield mix, I'm sure.
Clay was a beautiful thing.
The 0-2 pitch. Chopped on the ground. Belcastro out of the circle. Up with it and on to first. 1-3 goes the putouts. And that's out number 2 here in the top of the 7th inning.
Nordahl advances to second on the play.
Mara will come to the plate. A triple and stranded in her first at-bat, singled in a run scored in her second at-bat, and then proceeded to ground out to the shortstop in her last at-bat at the plate. That was back in the 5th. Belcastro's first pitch called high for ball number 1. Tamara. Leominster, of course, right now has been home here for better than a decade here at the Leominster Lassie League complex, where most of these Leominster-based players grew up and really fell in love with the game. 1-0 popped up and out of play. Bill Thomas protecting me, thank you.
I'm protecting the on-air talent. Sorry, Kate.
1 ball, 1 strike goes the count
I'm
to
just fine by
Mara.
myself over here.
Probably the only one that can field her position in this broadcast. Bill Thomas is sitting over there. 1-1 pitch, off speed, line shot back at Belcastro, and she'll snare it out of the air. And that will end the threat here in the 7th. Through 6.5 here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. It is 4-0 the lead for St. Paul over Leominster. Down to their final 3 outs, back against the wall. Can the Blue Devils manufacture 4, keep the game alive, or 5 to take this one? They're going to have to do it against
Horton's
Horton, who
nobody saw that.
literally just stumbled out and has got the biggest smile on her face, Kate.
Don't worry, we got it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
We
you
got
can
it.
relive that one as well, and then sent her teammate to the ground. It's all smiles, and everyone is down over
everyone's
on
laughing too,
the
which-
night
Horton's
side.
middle
the best
name better
part of
be
it all.
Grace.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
She's not having any fun.
moment to look back on.
I was going to say that's a good one to recap.
Boy.
Folks will collect themselves before we head to the bottom of the 7th. We were talking about, of course, Leominster being home here at the Lassie League complex for better than a decade. There is and has been in the works for as long as there has been a plan in the last decade and a half to put new facilities, playing facilities back on site in Leominster. It'd be the first time at the Granite Street location in high school there was an actual home game that could be contested
Never
there
happened.
in any way, shape, or form. It's never happened since the 1960s.
In any sport.
In any sport that we can come up with.
Other than maybe cross country.
But there is plans for a field hockey field as well as a track as well as a home softball facility owned and operated by Leominster Athletics for the first time, if that project can get off the ground. And of course, it has had grant funding for the longest of times. It has been on a blueprint for a multitude of athletic directors. I know Athletic Director Dave Palazzi is dying for that project to go forward. It is right now, I believe, in the approvals process still at the city level. And of
He'll
course,
go out there and dig
still
the site
generating
himself if
funding.
you
I
let
was
him.
going to say, I know. And this is, hey, call your city councilor, call whoever you need to call to get that project moving forward. Because I'll tell you, it is well deserved for Leominster
How does
Athletics.
the neighborhood that's not had to deal with athletic fields feel about it, Todd? Do you know?
That's a great point, Bill Thomas.
I mean, I wonder if there's some backroom negotiations.
I got to
trying to
imagine
limit the
there have
scope of
been
the
folks
project.
certainly that, I mean, whether you can have lights and
Yeah.
all sorts of things, but certainly
always
Leominster
a
Athletics
consideration.
deserves the facilities.
Oh, absolutely.
And this softball team deserves a home facility they haven't had, as does the track program, by the way, who hasn't been able to have a home meet in 2 decades because they don't have a facility.
Well, fortunately, Doyle Field is a beautiful facility for football, baseball, and I'm not sure if that's where they run their track, but
It's where they used to have
It's-
home meets, but it's an asphalt facility
now,
and hasn't been updated.
the track area is outdated as far as the upgrading of the facilities when the priorities were laid out, but still a great place to play your sports if you're a high school athlete on the football gridiron and the baseball field there.
4-5-6 for Leominster. Wilson's in the hole 0-2, and she'll foul this one off to keep the at-bat alive.
That's a nice swing at 0-2. That wasn't a defensive swing at all. That's a situation where you react. You see ball, you hit ball, and you know that anything close. I like that bit of hitting right there. Not a defensive swing. She's being aggressive, and anything in the vicinity she's going after.
On the attack, and she'll see ball wide and low. 1-2 goes the count. Wilson will see another pitch.
You know, and a good take right there. That pitch has been a strike for the most part of the day, give or take an inch or two out there. That
And
one is a
called
strike.
strike 3,
Yeah, right down
and
the
Wilson not happy with it, but the off-speed knee high called for strike 3, and
That's
Leominster's
that-
down to their final 2 outs.
That's that inside of the plate that we
And-
have been discussing all day long. It eludes a lot of high school batters because there aren't a lot of right-handed pitchers that will bring you a screwball inside like that and it be effective on the inside portion of the plate.
And the way Horton's been working the outside, you know, you're looking out there.
Jury first pitch swinging, hit on the ground, up with it Palmer, over to Mara, 4-3 goes the putout. Second time Chury grounded out to second base today. Her last 2 at-bats was caught looking in her first at-bat, and that brings Anna Wary, the third baseman, to the plate. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, Leominster chasing 4. Down to their final out. Horton, a called strike on the outside low. 0-1 goes the count. Line drive to first base, ground out to second for Wary in her previous 2 at-bats. Horton in command, looking to close things out. Strike 2 at the knees on the outside, and 0-2 the count to Wary.
And that strike right there just sets that inside corner up, Kate, and I'm sure that's what you're thinking looking at it, and here it comes.
0-2 pitch, hit on the ground by Wary. Up with it, the first baseman Mara will make the tag on Wary and end this ball game. Final score here from the Leominster Lassie League complex. St. Paul 4 and Leominster nothing. We'll get the final totals for you here. We'll bring you the final stat recap and bring it all to you as we continue our coverage here on RFM. Horton is the winning pitcher. Belcastro takes the complete game loss in this one. Final stats and more to come in this one in just a matter of moments. Stay with us. This is RFM. Post game here on RFM. Great to have you along with us. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. St. Paul a winner today, 4-0. Your final here at the Leominster Lassie League complex. They'll improve their record to 5-1. Leominster falls to 2-3 through their first 5 games of the season. Time to look back now on this one as we look back across what was an exciting day of action here, especially if you were a St. Paul Knight. Lots of positive statistics to look at, and of course it starts with Natalie Horton. You look at her pitching line, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, did not allow a run, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. She scattered those 2 hits in the 6th inning, carried a no-hitter through the first 5 of action. Meanwhile, that, of course, for the win. Meanwhile, for Victoria Belcastro takes the loss for Leominster. Her stat line looks good in some places, and we'll talk about it. 7 innings pitched, 8 hits allowed, 4 runs, they were all earned, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. You know, sitting there and trying to balance this, right? You score 4 runs in the game if you're St. Paul. You had a lot of fun out on the bases, but if you're Coach Amy Lee, you've got some things to talk about here, and one of those is, of course, simply strikeouts in this ball game. You're chasing a lot of pitches, and you are giving up opportunities to increase the score, but of course, when you've won 3 of your games by double digits, you can't complain.
No, and you know, it's you know, sometimes the kids are up there swinging away, and you know, the wind was a factor today, whether it's on the mound or at the plate, and just the conditions were a challenge today, even though it was a nice spring day, but. You'll take a 4-0 win anytime.
Absolutely. And, of course, to improve your record to 5-1 here on this early season, and it started going right back. First inning was you had a triple in that 3 spot from Bellamaro with 2 outs, and then the Belcastro were able to get out of trouble on the next pitch, a ground ball back to her. But then Leominster goes 3 up, 3 down as Horton begins to cruise through that first inning. Then you go to the second inning, and Horton bats lead off in the inning, leads off with a double, becomes a run scored in that one, and it's a 1-0 lead for St. Paul through 1.5. Leominster goes in order in the bottom of the second inning, so you go now to the top of the third inning. Couple of singles and both runs score. Nordahl and Mara in the inning, and all of a sudden it's 3-0 St. Paul through 2.5. Leominster in order again in the third, at least for the first 2 outs, 2 strikeouts, Belcastro and Witzgal. An error kept the inning alive for Beelan, then a walk, which is probably one of the lone, we'll say, ugly innings for Horton, but ended up ending the threat with a line drive to second base by Barnaby to close out the third inning with a 3-0 advantage. And then the fourth inning, things really opened up a little bit more. Horton led off that inning as well. A walk and a run scored in that one. Some singles, a cut down at home plate off of that single, something that certainly stands out as well in this one. An 8-3-2 put out from center field, hit the cutoff there for Leominster on a great play at the plate to cut that one down. A 5th run there certainly would have been a difficult circumstance to say nothing, but a couple more singles came in at bats that followed, but then back-to-back strikeouts for Belcastro closed the inning in the 4th inning, and Bill Thomas at that point trailing 4-0, but Leominster certainly, I thought on the defensive side of things, especially the back half of the game, 4, 5, 6, 7 looked pretty good defensively.
Yeah, and once Horton got into a groove, though, there was really no turning back, and Belcastro did a great job closing out the game. She had 1, 2, 3 inning, and we commented it was like an immaculate inning. 3 pitches, 3 outs, and come back with a couple of nice 4-batter innings in the 6th and 7th. But Lady Blue Devils are able to put anything together against Horton, and I'm looking at her pitching line just to expand on it a little bit more. 5 out of 7 innings, 1, 2, 3 innings, and when you can't get base runners on, you're not going to score very much. So 1 inning they had a chance to break through. Couple of base runners, but were unable to score, and the rest of the game belonged to Horton.
And Horton was able to dominate in this one. Again, we said she carried a no-hitter through 5. Then you go to innings 6 and 7. Leominster gets a couple of singles in there, and then you had the potential obstruction play at second base that came up as the second out with the caught stealing on that play, and
really changed
it did change the complexion of that right 6th inning.
Because that ball was headed into right center field, and the shortstop did a great job just cutting across in front of the bag, and the Lady Blue Devil base runner was right there, and ball, base runner, and defensive player all arrived at the same time at the same spot. good job hanging on to the throw from the catcher, gets the out, but could have really changed the outcome of the game, especially, changed the complexity of that inning, and who knows what would have happened going forward. But, it goes down. It's a great play all around. The shortstop got the out when they needed it and took the base runner off the path.
1 hour, 34 minutes, a tidy 1 hour and 34 minutes. And, in this game, Bill Thomas, people thought you couldn't play a game in under 2 hours since the pitching distance had been moved to 43 feet. But a tidy 1 hour, 34 minutes for this one here today. Leominster takes the loss 4-0 to St. Paul. As we said, St. Paul improves their record to 5-1, Leominster to 2-3 here on this early season. But, Kate, final thoughts here. There were plenty of opportunities here. If you're Leominster, you're sitting there and looking and going, there's a couple of things here, a couple of things there. Maybe this could have gone a little better. Maybe we could have done, maybe one more timely hit here or one more timely opportunity there. You can't complain about holding a team that has 3 double-digit victories. 15 runs, 13 runs. Holding them to 4 runs is a really great situation, but you got to score in the ball game.
Yeah, and that's been a situation when, on the first talking about the Leominster side of the ball, when they've run up against kind of the class of Central Massachusetts,
sure,
manufacturing runs has become a difficulty, but it's a situation in which you have to be able to get base runners on in order to be able to start moving the pieces around. I was actually interested to see how little manufacturing St. Paul's attempted to do.
Yeah.
When you have a situation where when they went up against Wachusett, runs were at a premium for them. So early on in the game, interestingly, Coach Amy Lee really letting all the way through 1 through her 9 spots really basically just take a swing at it. And it wasn't until the latter innings in which they tried to really start to manufacture anything. Obviously, at the end of the day, they were able to get the run production that they needed in order to be victorious, but it was not a situation, like you said, where offensively St. Paul's overpowered Leominster offensively. It's similarly both Belcastro and Horton doing a nice job in the circle that defensively no team really, dominated one side or the other. So the score, 4-0, fairly evenly matched team. It's one of these situations where you hear about somebody like Natalie Horton coming into this game and you hear, oh my goodness, it's a D1 commit and it's a Danielle Henderson recruiting job from Massachusetts. And you hear about those types of things and they become almost like myth or legend as they come in. And so kudos to this Leominster team not getting psyched out by that situation, because when you have that kind of mythical presence of prospective Division I athlete, especially one whose coach is this mythical legend of pitching in Massachusetts, it becomes something, especially on April vacation, you can psych yourself out very easily in that type of a situation. Nice job, both sides. Again, it doesn't become a situation where either team is dominant on the offensive end or on the defensive end. Right now, what this game has shown me is that Central Mass still needs to try to find an answer for the Wachusett Mountaineers. And if anything, that's what today has shown me, is that somehow, some way, a team is going to have to figure out the offensive side and the defensive side to be able to go up against a Mountaineer team, either in the Samata tournament or in the statewide tournament, to become the class of Central Mass. And right now, as you said, both sides, both teams have some work to do offensively and defensively in order to show me that somebody else can kind of take over that claim of the class of Central Mass, because right now Wachusett has been doing so in spades.
You hit on Horton a little bit, and of course going to play for Danielle Henderson out at UMass, and of course Coach Henderson will be entering her 2nd year this year, 3rd year next, as she moves forward, moving over there from UMass Lowell as a head coach back now at her alma mater. And she is a perfect case, Horton, of the type of player that Coach Henderson would be looking for to build around as she tries to rebuild the standard at UMass. It's been, of course, an Atlantic 10 power for a very long time, but the last time it really threatened on the national scale, Coach Henderson herself was the pitcher and the star at UMass back in the 90s.
Capture that magic.
Absolutely.
And she's got a good start right here in Horton.
And that's and it's a lot of fun to see. So often you hear, well, Massachusetts can't turn out players like that or can't get players that are going to reach that level. And I certainly would say Horton has got all the raw ingredients there. Now the question will be, can they be molded into a successful situation, a successful program? We'll see where that goes. Hopefully you get an opportunity to enjoy this one. Facebook.com/Media Rivalry, same day delay broadcast here on RFM. Also available on YouTube, youtube.com, search Rivalry Family Media, or tinyurl.com/Media Rivalry to take you there directly as well. On Twitter, @Media Rivalry for Rivalry Family Media, schedule updates and more there as well. That's all of the places you can find. First one here of the spring season again, and the first one of this week. We've got another one coming up for you tomorrow as we get the annual renewal of one heck of a baseball rivalry. We've got Leominster and Shrewsbury, the April vacation week matchup coming up at Doyle Field tomorrow. It's an 11 a.m. first pitch for that action. We'll have that game for you same day to YouTube later on tomorrow evening, but we've got a scheduling adjustment we're going to make. That will be a Saturday replay, noontime Saturday on the delay for that action on Facebook as well. So that's where you will be able to find that baseball action. And of course, Billy and Kate still sitting here with me. What are we looking for here? It's early season. Leominster baseball, of course, has been off to a good start, as has Shrewsbury. Kate, you've had an opportunity to trade messages with Coach Lee Diamantopoulos. It's been a busy week for the Colonials.
It has.
They've played a lot of baseball, playing one right now, playing as part of that Hudson tournament that they annually play during April vacation week. So this will be the fourth game within the week for Shrewsbury?
I think it'll be tomorrow will be either the third or the fourth. It's 3 days in a row, 3 games in a row for them, because they are playing in that April vacation spring tournament at Hudson. When I saw the schedule, I said, Dymo's got 3. I said, what's Costa and Dymo doing? And then when I saw the
ADJ Costa,
yes,
Lee Diamantopoulos, head baseball coach.
When I was taking a look at the schedule, it was a situation in which then I realized, the Hudson tournament is going on. And so that is the reason that they have these 3 games scheduled, and it's one of these situations we were like, is this a weather makeup? What's going on? So it's going to be interesting to see what they have for availability for pitching, because unlike the softball diamond, you can't just rely on 1 or 2 arms in order to get you through your entire season. And so it's going to be interesting to see how creative Coach Lee Diamantopoulos gets here in the later part of the week, because you're still going up against a very formidable Leominster Blue Devil baseball team. Even though we're going to see a lot of new faces out there for the Blue Devils, it'll be very interesting. But a formidable Central Mass power nonetheless under Coach Rich Barnaby, as we expect them to be year in and year out. And so it's going to be an interesting one. I know that Coach Lee Diamantopoulos and the Shrewsbury Colonials always look forward to these Central Mass matchups, and so it'll be an interesting one. It'll be, as always, a family affair out there for everybody, and we'll get to see old friends. So that'll be all sorts of fun tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Like a reunion day on both sides.
It's like we won't even have left the
I was going to say,
diamond.
looking forward to that opportunity coming up tomorrow as well. And of course, you got to point to Leominster, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow, Bill Thomas, as I turn to you for an early conversation. Going to look at Brandon Arsenal. You know, he was the first baseman last year. He was the second pitcher who would come in, who performed admirably in the postseason for Leominster. And you got to talk about thus far offensively, his output this year. He had 2 3-run home runs in the same ball game earlier this year, accounting for 6 runs off 2 swings of the bat. That's impressive. If you can do that and pitch your way through, there's a lot that Coach Barnaby can build around on this season as well.
Well, Coach Barnaby definitely had some holes to fill, losing Evan McCarthy as number 1 pitcher,
sure,
and Tyler Smith as starting catcher. And we know he was a typical catcher. He was in the dirt. He was dirty during pre-games, and the kind of player we love to see. But Rich is doing a great job over there. And if you got to win by way of the 3-run homers rather than the 2-0 games, and that's what they're going to play. But when you got a player that can turn into an all-around player like that, do it at the plate and on the mound. We saw Evan McCarthy doing that last year. It's hard to replace a player like McCarthy. Sounds like Rich Barnaby's well on his way, and we'll have to see what they bring to the field tomorrow. Like you say, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Hoping the sun comes back out for us, but expecting a great ball game nonetheless. We know Shrewsbury and Leominster, no matter what sport, we follow them across the football, basketball spectrums now onto the baseball field. Nothing but great competition.
Indeed. Hey, we're looking forward to it. We'll have that action for you again. Same day delay tomorrow on YouTube, and then a Facebook Live rebroadcast coming up on Saturday at noontime. Stay with us for that one. This one, same day delay on Facebook. Facebook.com/Media Rivalry. 8 o'clock coming up tonight, and then follow that up on YouTube as well. YouTube.com. Search Rivalry Family Media for this one. Been a great day to open the spring season. Weather-wise, hey, we'll hope for a little more sun tomorrow and maybe a little less wind over at Doyle Field. For Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and all of us here at RFM, I am Todd Robbins, saying thank you so very much for being a part of our family over the last couple of hours, and we look forward to having more action for you and with us throughout the rest of this spring season. Until tomorrow, so long, everybody.